I off center. How did that happen? Well, Jeffley. Hey, gang, it's Patrick. How's it going today? Long time no see. Been a minute. All that happy jazz. I know this. Sorry. I had some real life going on. So, today we are going to do a quick session on designing your crew's starship. And a lot of you are going, Patrick, the game's been out for 7 years now. Surely we know how to do starships. Well, I'm sure a lot of the old guard does, but I've seen the numbers in the Facebook group, and I'm here to tell you there are new players coming into this game every day. So this might not be a video for you. Who knows? But it is going to be a quick one for beginners. We're gonna show you the very basics of what you do designing a starship. We're going to do two today, actually. One's going to be dirt simple, straight out of the core rulebook. If that's all you have, that's all you need. And then we're going to do a slightly more complex example. Not too complex, because it's a fairly simple system. Thank you, Aaron and Nathan. But we're also going to use the greatest tool in the history of ever, as far as I'm concerned, for things like this. We are going to be using BC Holmes's character generator, which also does starships. Very handy. All right, so I will include a link to her ship and character generator in the description, but let us do something simple. All right, like I said, the first thing we're going to do is straight out of the core rulebook right here. Basics of starship creation start on page 236 of the core rulebook. And this is something that the GM and the players should be doing all together at session 0.1. This is as much a part of getting things set up as rolling up your characters, because as we have noted many times, your starship or space station is really one of the characters of the show, and you should treat it as such. But the basics start on page 236. First thing you do is you choose a space frame. After that, you choose a mission profile. And then you put it all together. It's a very simple process. But let us go look at the generator. And here it is. sta.bchomes.org. Like I say, I'll have a link to that in the description. But let's go. Characters and starships. And we are going to clear everything out. We just want the core rulebook. Standard RPG rules. You can also do some stuff with Captain's Log, if you have Captain's Log selected. So we are going to select that. It's going to ask us what era. You should already have decided this in the in your session 0. For purposes of this demonstration, we're going to be in the TNG era, the 2300s, and we are making a starship. And we're going to use a standard build. So So the first thing it's going to ask is what year is it set in, because that determines refits. We're just going to choose something basic. First year of Lower Decks, 23. Oh, it even says first season of Lower Decks. That's handy. How big of a vessel? We're going to make a starship. We're not making a pod or anything like that. We're making a starship. We'll just leave that alone and create. We're going to use standard space frames right out of the book. And I don't think we have to worry about end of service dates on any of these. So let's do something fairly new. We're going to do an Intrepid class like the Voyager. And there are the basics. Systems and the departments. So we choose that. Next. And then we choose the mission profile. As I said, these are on the these are in the core rule book. Mission profiles are on page 253. But we are going to, again, for purposes of this argument, we are going to take see, that's the multi-rule explorer. That's the one everybody seems to go for. But I think we are going to say that it is scientific and survey operations. We're going to make this a science vessel. So we're going to choose that one. Hit next. Now it has us choose a talent from the mission profile. Depending on the scale of the ship is the number of talents that you can wind up with. Since the Intrepid is a scale 4 ship, it can get 4 talents. It already has 3 from the space frame itself. So the only other one that we can choose is from the mission profile. Some don't have as many talents, and you can choose those a little more freely. You have to have 1 from the mission profile and the ones from the space frame. But if there's anything extra, you can just kind of throw those in as you see fit, depending on what plans you have for your game series. But for this one, we've got 1 talent. We've got advanced research facilities, high resolution sensors, and modular labs. And just for purposes of example, we are just going to go with the high resolution sensors. Boom. Hit next. And there's no talents to select for your ship because all the slots are full. The between the mission profile and the space frame, all 4 slots for talents are full. So we're going to hit next again. Refits are when you take an older space frame and bring it up to date to your game's date. And since we're just in 2380 and the Intrepid class wasn't brought out until sometime in the early 2370s, we don't get a refit. You get one every 10 years in the 24th century. They get farther and farther apart as you go into the future. But this one, we've got no points to allocate. If we did, we'd be able to raise any of these systems by however many points. You can put 2 into each system. You know, if we had 1, you just have 1, you could have your computers go up to 12, for instance. But we don't have that, so we just hit next. And Then you get to just the final details. We are going to call this, what should we call this? This is the USS. A lot of the Intrepids are named after explorers and things like that. So we're going to call this USS Croft, just for sake of keeping track of things. And we'll just keep that registry. The traits, it's automatically going to have Federation Starship as a trait. If it was a Klingon space frame, we'd have Klingon Starship, etc., etc. Then we're going to export that to a PDF. It's got several options here. We're going to go with the TNG standard sheet. We're going to export it to PDF. Here it is. Intrepid class, no refits. It's even got the handy dandy silhouettes for the Intrepid class. All your systems are filled out. There are your talents. There's your ship's weapons. And that's that for our simple example. So I'm going to close that. We're going to go back to the beginning. Our next example, we're going to be a little more complex and show a little more of how this works. We're going to take a space frame from the Klingon Empire Core Rulebook. We're going to use some of the mission profiles from Utopia Planitia Starfleet source book, but it's all good for generalized Starship creation. Starship creation in the Klingon core book starts at page 208. And the space frame mission profiles in Utopia Planitia start on page 68. Yeah, 68. So for this example, let's get back to the ship creator. So we are going to make sure we have the Klingon core selected, since that's where one of our space frames that we want is. Don't have to worry about any of our crew books. But we do want, from the major expansions, we want Utopia Planitia. So standard RPG rules. Select. Again, we're going to choose the next generation. I'm going to create a Starship. Standard build rules. Now for our campaign year, let's try to ensure that we get something that's going to get us some refits. So I show you how that works. So let's say just shortly before the events of Picard, season 1. After the destruction of Romulus. Starship. It is not a Starfleet ship, however, it is a Klingon Defense Force starship we're going to create. We're going to create it using a standard space frame. I'm going to go ahead and ignore end of service dates. Wait, maybe not. I was going to say that started to make the list awfully long, and what we're looking for anyway is we're going to build a Vorcha class attack cruiser. So we're going to choose that and hit next. I was gonna make this. Oh, multi-role battle cruiser. No, it's a warship. They're Klingons, for crying out loud. What else would it be? Oh, that's weird. Because I was specifically looking for this right here. I'll have to get with BC and ask her about that. But we can still go with warship. I have no issue with that at all. So it is a warship. Boom. All right, we have to choose one talent from the list of talents associated with the mission profile. A blade of armor, fast targeting systems, improved damage control, rapid fire torpedo launchers. That's a very Klingon thing. Just watch the beginning of Star Trek: The Motion Picture. They like that noise. Or expanded munitions. Just for grins, let's go with rapid fire torpedo launchers. We'll hit next. And we still have room for one talent. The Vorcha is a scale 5 ship. So it'll have a total of 5 talents, but we can choose pretty much any talent we want at this point. So let's take a look here. I don't see them needing an advanced medical ward. I mean, Klingons, right? Ooh, electronic warfare systems. Communications systems have been specially designed to intercept and disrupt enemy communications in battle. I like this idea. Let's take that. And we had 1, so there is that talent that we chose. Boom. Now, since we set it in 2395 and the Vorcha came about at least 20 years earlier than that, we have 2 points to allocate towards refits to improve systems. So, comms, well, they do have that electronic warfare system. That would make sense to have an improved comms to make that work better. Computers, not a real Klingon thing to do. Engines are pretty tough as it is on the Vorcha. The structure and the weapons is an easy thing to go for. But sensors, especially with, again, the electronic warfare stuff, I like that idea. So we're going to upgrade the sensors, which takes our system to 10, 9, 10, 10, 10, and 10. Pretty simple and straightforward. We hit next. What should we call this ship? It is a Klingon ship, Imperial Klingon ship. We will call it, I'm gonna pull something out of an old game. Alhae, the Death Sting. That ought to do it for right now. So let's export that to a PDF. The Klingon Starship sheet seems the logical choice. Export. And here she is. Boom, boom. I don't see where it shows the refits, but maybe I'm just missing it. I don't know this sheet as well as I know some other things. But here are all the talents we chose. And that is everything we need for that. And that is literally all you need to do to create starships in this game. It is not anything that requires a degree in mathematics, as some older games seemed to have required in the past. PASA, I'm looking at you. But that's it, guys. It really is simple. I've seen people worry about it being complex and hard to deal with, and it's really not in this game. This game is super simple to design starships in, and that's all I've got to say on it. I appreciate you guys dropping by. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Hit like if you enjoyed this. Subscribe if you are so inclined. And live long and prosper. Have a good night, guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.